Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Really proud of the team, the coaches, all of the players, all of the support staff. You know, everyone sticking together, believing in what we're doing. You know, eliminate the distractions.
After what many would consider a tumultuous week, Michigan State's football team was able to get back in the win column after rolling into Champaign and taking down previously 16th-ranked Illinois. What made Mel Tucker proud was his team's ability to play complementary football, so it's why we're starting the show this week with the top plays of the game, so you can see for yourself how the offense, defense, and special teams were working as one. On the Illini's first drive of the day, they went for it on 4th and goal, only to see Tommy DeVito's pass to Isaiah Williams fall incomplete. A major stop for the Spartans defense to get the game started on the right foot, and Tucker knew it. As for the 5th most influential play of the game, second quarter, Peyton Thorne finds Trey Mosley towards the back of the end zone for the 1-yard touchdown to put the Spartans on top 9-7, and it kept Tucker clapping on the sideline, that's for sure. Michigan State's defense would rise to the occasion on the very next drive. DeVito with the give and go to running back Chase Brown, and little did he know the X-Man was waiting for him. Xavier Henderson wraps Brown up, and the ball pops out for Henderson's second forced fumble in as many games. Overall, it was the 13th fumble the Spartans defense has forced this year. The Spartans offense stayed quiet until the third quarter. Thorne hands it off to Jarek Brassard, and he nearly goes 11 yards untouched for the TD to pad the Spartans lead, and they weren't done flexing their muscles in the end zone in Champaign. The second most influential play of the game came in the form of a touchdown pass Spartan fans could count on nearly every game last year. Thorne with a dime to Jaden Reed, a 16-yard touchdown to really give MSU some cushion, 23-7. But the number one play is coming from the Spartans defense, and here's why. 2:57 to play in the game, 4th and 10 for Illinois, and linebacker Cal Halliday said, "Not today, Tommy." Him and Derek Harmon combined for the sack for another 4th down stop, and it was Halliday's second of the half. Halliday's performance caught the conference's attention. It's why they tabbed him the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Not only was he able to come up with some monster stops on defense, but he also recorded a career-high 3.5 tackles for loss. And as he shared with our Nick Mantis, his dedication to detail is paying off.
Third Michigan State sack. Here comes the pressure. DeVito in trouble once again, and Michigan State dominates the line once again. The pressure was there from the snap, and Michigan State takes over up by 8. Illinois cannot stop the clock. With 2:51 to go, Sparty has control of this game.
Coming off a game like that against Illinois, you have an outstanding performance that earned you the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. What was it like when you heard that you had received that honor?
I didn't find out till Monday morning after practice. It's exciting. It's an honor. I mean, I kind of just made a couple plays. I think I was just right place at the right time. You know, sometimes it just happens. I think it's awesome, and I'm really excited about it, and it's an honor.
Was it just positioning? Was it, you kind of knew, okay, Illinois tends to do this, so let me be over here on this side. What gave you the opportunity to be right place, right time?
We knew Illinois they had a really good running back, and and I was thinking play more downhill and stuff because their tendencies showed a lot of run, and try to bottle him up and try to get him before he got to the line of scrimmage. So he doesn't have all that space because that's where he was. He was really good.
This time last year, when we were talking to you, there was a moment of you realizing that through fall camp, you were going to have more playing time.
Spring ball was really big for me. That's when I really started get a hold of the defense and felt really comfortable with the defense. And we had a scrimmage at the end of fall camp. Ended up doing pretty well in the coach's eyes, and they took a shot on me, and then that's pretty much the story, and that's how it's been since.
What's it been like for you now, a year later from our last conversation, and you've taken that opportunity and made it Conference Defensive Player of the Week type of performance in this career that you've been having?
think it's just like an example for like everyone in a way kind of thing. Like just work hard and you'll get what you put into, because I mean, I think like it's just an example and it just shows like it can happen. So it's like confidence, I think, for the younger guys too. It's like you can get on the field whenever you want, and I think the coaches will trust you when you show that you can be trusted. That's how it ends up, you being out in the field and stuff, and I think it just all falls into place after that.
As you go into not just your studying for football, but you're studying for school, can you just give us a kind of an understanding of why everybody thinks you might be the smartest guy on the team?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, at first I was chemical engineering. I was chemical engineering for the first 2.5 years, I think. And then I switched to chemistry instead, which I think it was just a smarter thing for me to do because it's a lot of work. Like engineering's on top of football. Like it worked out like with my schedule, like most of the classes matched up, so it just kind of like made sense. And then you go back to the meeting room for football right after you're done, so you just find time for everything because you just gotta manage your time as best you can because you don't get much of it. You don't get much free time.
What is it then in the long run, chemistry-wise, that you want to do?
I'm not really sure, but as my dad did it, he ended up being a chemistry teacher. So, I mean, there's options. You can do whatever. I could be a chemist if I really wanted to. Look in the medical field, like with medicines and stuff like that too. There's a bunch of options, but I think it's more broad than chemical engineering. I think chemical engineering is more straightforward, like path, whereas chemistry is a little bit more broad and you can do a little bit more with it.
If you end up becoming a chemist, you might be a chemist who has the most pick sixes in the history of the field. So just be prepared to be walking into different labs like that.
Whether it be physical or mental, Halliday's toughness is rubbing off on the rest of the Spartans' defense. And as for the offense, wide receiver Keon Coleman continues to be a standout go-to target. And when we come back, you're going to find out for yourself that he has the swagger it takes to dominate at his position.
As we go to break, Farm Bureau Insurance invites you to register to win an exclusive private dinner with head coach Mel Tucker. Go to InsideTheGreenSweeps.com to register.
At MSU FCU, we believe managing your finances should be easy. That's why we offer totally green checking with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and tons of account features you'll love, like free bill payment and mobile deposit, free access to your credit score, and much more. Plus, you can easily manage your money anytime, anywhere with the free mobile app. Stop by a branch, give us a call, or visit us online and open your totally green checking account today.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
If there is one player on Michigan State's roster who has the fan base the most excited about the future, it's wide receiver Keon Coleman. Not only does he lace him up for Mel Tucker, but once the football season comes to a close, he will hit the court with Tom Izzo. Our Ian Kress sat down with the dual sport athlete, and as you'll see, Coleman's a confident one.
Well, I want to start by going back 7 months because you sent out a tweet that said, "Dear me, in 7 months, I'm going to make you proud." And then fast forward 7 months and 1 day, and you have that game against Wisconsin.
Thorne going for it all. Back shoulder, caught, touchdown, Keon Coleman. Uh-oh, look out. At that pass, and it is caught in the end zone. It is Coleman who comes away with it.
Can you see the future? Is that basically what you were telling us there?
Nah, I won't say that. I just, one night I was just sitting there really just thinking, kind of like manifesting what I wanted to happen in the next year or so, and I was like, I knew the next 7 months, it should be mid-season, and I should be comfortable in the starting role and with my role in the offense, and should be making plays by then and just, putting the world on notice, and it all just happened.
That confidence you have in yourself, how has that helped you in your game with football?
Pretty much just not letting anything that happens, like bad happens, affect it. So knowing what I've been taught to do and trusting the training that I've been given by Coach Hawk, and just knowing my capabilities and knowing what God blessed me with. So with all those things and the belief in myself that I know I can do what I can do, that's pretty much where I come from.
What was it like growing up down in Louisiana with playing the two sports and really bursting onto the scene in both of them for you in high school?
Well, the crazy thing is they weren't first. It was really baseball, but I had to end up dropping that one. Maybe like junior high is 12, 13 years old, because basketball, everything started going year round. But I didn't really play. I played football, but not like organized. So I got to really playing football with the shoulder pads and all that, hitting. maybe 8th grade, but I played running back for it. I played a quarterback my whole life. Got to 8th grade, started running the ball. Then maybe sophomore in high school, I really started playing like receiver for real. But the basketball, that's always been there.
When you decided to come to Michigan State, you know, what led into it? Obviously, being able to play 2 sports was probably something that went into that deciding factor for you, but what really was the driving force for you?
Coach Tucker, just believing in what he was going to bring to this team and the culture, like changing the culture around. Because I didn't know much about this area or anything like that, but I just trusted him and trusted all the things that he knew.
So what would you say is the difference between Coach Tucker and Coach Izzo?
One taller than the other, that's about it. They coach the same, but they own you, and they love what they do, they're passionate about what they do, and when they see the potential in you, they're going to get every ounce of potential out of you, because they know, like I always say, potential gets you beat, so they're trying to maximize you so you can get to the next level, and you know, you can take care of your family and do everything you have to do.
Being the second youngest of 5 siblings and the first one to play college athletics, Keon didn't make this journey from Louisiana to East Lansing alone. His older brother, Kalen, moved to Michigan with him.
Just new opportunities, you know, living somewhere we never ever imagined living, like in Michigan. You're in Louisiana, you don't think I'm gonna move to Michigan one day. So it's just like different experiences, and being far away from home is a place where my family can come and have another home.
And it's a fact, his brother never misses a game.
What is it like, you know, when you get to score a touchdown and he's watching you?
I think that's single-handedly the greatest feeling ever. Because sometimes my mama don't be able to make it, because I got a younger sister she got to tend to. But just knowing he's there every game is like, he really stuck with me through everything. He's pretty much been my trainer, my brother, part of a father figure. He's just been everything, helping me with all that. So just seeing everything come to light, how we both envisioned it from like a young age, is like it's like a dream for real.
Coleman was a part of Tucker's first recruiting class at Michigan State, and when we come back, you're going to hear from the Spartans leader. Not only does he tell us what led to the win over then 16th ranked Illinois, but how they plan to keep it rolling this week against Rutgers.
Closed captioning sponsored by Hearing Life, helping Spartans love their ears. With 41 locations across Michigan, go to hearinglife.com to take a free online hearing test. Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
After handing Illinois just its second loss of the season, Mel Tucker said the Spartans would not be seduced by success. And while they did a lot of things right in Champaign, there is more work to be done. And it's where we begin part 1 of our chat this week. Well, obviously, we're going to start this week with the win that you guys were able to have on the road at Illinois. Before you guys left, Peyton Thorne was pretty adamant that you're all that each other has and nobody is going to come and save you. So for you to see your team have that mentality and that mindset going into that game, what did it mean to you, especially to hear that and know that your leader was saying that to everybody?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the team, the coaches, all of the players, all of the support staff. Just proud of the focus that we had going into the game. You know, everyone sticking together, believing in what we're doing. Eliminate the distractions and having the confidence to go on the road and execute for 4 quarters, 60 minutes in the game.
Xavier Henderson, having him back, you know, you mentioned a couple weeks ago that he is an impact player. He's a leader of the defense. He had another forced fumble in that game against Illinois. Just what more does he add when he is on the field?
Aside from being a really good player, he has a lot of experience, played a lot of football here. He's a leader for us, so just his presence is settling, for our defense. And he's like a coach on the field because he understands our defense. He understands all of the adjustments that need to be made. So, you see him on the field directing traffic. He's a great communicator. He helps us get lined up, really good with motion adjustments and shifts and things like that. Just make sure everyone's in the right place so that we can execute.
If there's one thing that you've had all season, the ability to hang your hat on, it is red zone defense. What has impressed you this year about the red zone defense?
Yeah, well, we say they're not in till they're in. And so the guys continue to play really hard. Stop the run in the red zone is critically important. We'll set the edge and build a wall. Guys play really, really hard. And they believe that we're going to get them stopped. Just keep making them run plays. Every time they run a play, that's an opportunity for us to take the ball away. We want a takeaway, or a field goal attempt. And so, that's what we've done all season. I'm really proud of our guys, how hard they play. They're very stingy down there. Getting stops down there, holding people to field goal attempts is points off the board, which is important.
When it is a 4th and goal situation and you see that they're able to have success and the opponent's unable to score, how excited do you get on the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, those are big stops. Anytime you can stop them in the red zone or turnover on downs, I mean, that's points off the board. It's momentum for your team, obviously, and it just shows mental and physical toughness because everyone wants to run the ball in down there. And so when you eliminate the run and then you force them to throw, you can get pressure on the quarterback, and win on the throw downs. Then you're really doing a really good job. And so red zone defense, goal line defense, we played at a high level all season.
And one thing that I have to ask you, it would be remiss of us if we did not, is towards the end of the game, the decision to throw the ball in a situation where you could have easily maybe ran it and run the clock down.
We thought about running the ball and then running the clock down more. Obviously, we wanted to score a touchdown. We thought we had a really good play up, and we weren't able to get the ball, to where it needed to go. So we settled for a field goal, and we missed it. And so obviously, it was a lack of execution on our part. We just got to do a better job down there at the end of the game.
Despite the play call on the final drive, the Spartans were able to hold on for the win, and as a result, it was Tucker's 4th road win over a ranked opponent since taking over the program in 2020. It's not the only tidbit we need to fill you in on when it comes to his first season in East Lansing, and yes, it has to do with the Scarlet Knights. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
As we told you at the beginning of the show, Mel Tucker is proud of the way his team was able to work through the adversity they were up against following the altercation in the tunnel at Michigan Stadium. MSU was able to tune out the outside noise during their preparation for Illinois, but just exactly how were they able to do it? Tucker explains in part 2 of our chat.
It's important, after any game, but especially a game like that, to make sure that everyone in the organization understands why we were able to get the win. So we evaluate the game, we evaluate the week, and then we come in at the beginning of this week and say, hey, listen, this is why we were able to win the game. We eliminated distractions, we had intentional focus, we took everything one day at a time, doing the unrequired work, all those things that you need to be able to do in preparation to win a game. And so we did that all last week, and it wasn't just the players and the coaches, it was everyone involved, including the support staff. So I was proud of the intentional focus that we had, and I expect that to continue for the rest of the season.
It's also amazing, too, what happens when all 3 phases play as one.
I know, complimentary football. I say it every single week, but it was very evident on Saturday. You can't leave it up to just one side of the ball. We did a really good job in the kicking game, especially punt. We had a high level of ball security. We won that phase. Defensively, we were able to get a lot of stops, able to eliminate explosives for the most part. So we were able to hold them to a low number. And then offensively, we were efficient in the run game. We were able to possess the ball. The time of possession was fairly even, and we were able to score enough points to win the game. And that's an example of complementary football, and we need to continue to do that for the rest of the season.
When you see Bryce Behringer have a punt that literally sails the extent of almost the entire field, what do you think when you see him do that, and especially knowing his background of him being a former walk-on to now the #1 punter in the country?
That's what I think, best punter in the country, when I see him do those things. And he does it in practice. Every day is very, very, very consistent. We have a high level of confidence with him. And punt is the most important play in football. It's average of 40 yards of field position, which is huge. When you talk about score probability and drive start analysis, punt is huge, and he's averaging like 50 yards a punt. When I see him do things like that, I'm glad that we have him. He's an advantage for us, but I think best punter in the country.
How windy was it Saturday?
It was significant. Even running onto the field, there was a little extra strain there just to not get blown over. It was 25 miles an hour constantly, and it was gusting up to 40, 45. The wind was a factor. Against the wind, with the wind, being able to throw the football, snapping, holding, all those things it was a huge factor in the game. We had to take that into account, every play.
As you look ahead for Rutgers, you mentioned that you're happy to get back home. Haven't played in the woodshed in a couple of weeks, so that will be nice to get back home for you guys. But what's the biggest challenge with Rutgers, knowing that kind of what they're up against this year and how their season has been?
Their record really does not indicate, what they're capable of doing. They have really good players in all three phases. They're very aggressive on defense, they're aggressive on special teams, and they have playmakers on offense. And they're very well coached. Greg Schiano is one of the best coaches in the country. We all know that. He's an excellent recruiter, so they have some really good players. And I expect them to be at their best.
This too is a game where the storyline, you can't kind of avoid it this week, is this fact that you guys both have your bowl eligibility hopes right in front of you. Rutgers really needs a win to remain, in the race for it. You guys need a win as well. How much do you emphasize that to your team this week, knowing that that's on the line for you guys, but also for them?
Yeah, we're emphasizing preparing to win. And not just focusing on the end result, but focusing on what it takes to be in a position to win a game like this.
Do you think you have played a full 60 minutes of football, the football that you want to see, and how close were you to doing that against Illinois?
We got a lot closer, but our best 60 is definitely still ahead of us. There's a lot of room for improvement, and that's what this week of preparation has all been about, is getting better in all three phases so we can play our best 60 minutes of football in the woodshed on Saturday.
Fun little fact about Rutgers is Tucker made his coaching debut against the Scarlet Knights in 2020, and he referred to it as a game he'd like to forget. If you remember, MSU turned the ball over a record 7 times, but he knows his team has grown a lot since then, and also the vibe is going to be completely different come Saturday because there were no fans hardly in the stands at all due to COVID. As always, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show. Have a happy and healthy weekend.